Hello, YouTube friends. This is your comic movie nerd Kevin coming at ya. Just me out here sitting in the garage once again with my cigar. Just want to talk real quick about some things that have been going around a little bit with the MCU. Maybe we'll hit the DC real quick. So one thing that we know of, and that is the Doomsday trailer is still not out yet. How many of you have cried in the corner in the fetal position? Because you're like, these people have seen the trailer, and I have not. As I look, in years past, I have applied to be a manager for a movie theater and things, and that would have been my opportunity. If that worked out right, I might have been able to go to CinemaCon. It might have been my multiple CinemaCons I've gone to, and then I could share all these details with you, but that didn't happen. Not sure why. I didn't even really get a response, but at the time, I didn't have a ton of manager experience. I have a decent amount now. Maybe I could reapply for a coming movie theater. I think I saw that one's being built near here, near my church. There's this whole a Bass Pro is coming as part of something called the Brands at the Ranch. I don't know, but it's just talking about how there's more. It's Bass Pro plus bunch of our things that are being built in this one little area where we have a minor league hockey team plays there. That's like its biggest thing. But if you ever want to go to a semi-local. It's local. But for the most part, concerts and things like that, they happen in Denver, way off. Oh, FYI, yes, I'm coming from here from Colorado. So if you want to go to the craziness of Denver and the traffic, good luck to you. You hit some concerts out there. But if you don't, you're not going to really see a whole bunch of anything unless you go to this one arena that's near here. So anyway, there's that arena there. And they're building a Bass Pro shop. And I thought I heard something called Galaxy Theater. I don't know. I've never heard that company. Maybe it's a subsidiary of something bigger like Cinemark or Regal. It'd be great if it was a Regal, because I got a Regal gift card for Christmas. I don't know where to go. I looked it up. There's one somewhere near Colorado or maybe in Wyoming. But it's a process because it's not, around the block or anything. So we have to plan it. Hey, we got this gift card. Let's go spend an afternoon. Dinner and a movie. Anyway. I could apply there. I'm getting really off track here. I'm sorry. There goes 3 minutes, 30 seconds for you. Anyway, so these people at CinemaCon saw the trailer. They saw it twice. And from what we're hearing, it was dope, man. It was awesome. Just my personal opinion from everything I've heard and leaks and everything, I think the movie is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be up there with Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Winter Soldier, of course, is one of the best. I think it's definitely going to be bigger in scope than Winter Soldier. Great acting, great cast. It's going to have 30 people in it. As we know, 99.9% of all the actors that are in it are absolutely just fabulous. They're committed to the role, and they know who the character is, especially at this point. They've all played the characters several times now in movies. Some of them movies and shows. And speaking of movies, as I try to transition here, one of the things that's going to be happening here before we hit Doomsday is they're re-releasing Endgame. That'll be in September. If you haven't heard about it, well, ta-da! Endgame, Avengers Endgame will be being released in September. Not only to kind of get you back into the mindset of what we're talking about with Doomsday and the amount of characters in it, maybe even figuring out how you want to figure out your bathroom schedule while watching a 3-hour movie. Because the rumor for Doomsday is at least 3 hours. Some even say like 3.5. I thought I saw 3 hours and 45 minutes. They might be still debating that, and they're gonna have to maybe edit it down. Because, I mean, after previews, that's a good 4 hour plus sitting down. You're not gonna do that. Now, I mean, I've sat down before and not had to pee. You know, you make sure you go before you get to the theater, or maybe even before the movie starts at the theater. Number one, number two, get that all out of the way, right? But then you also have to remember, as dry as you might think the theater is, do not order a medium or large pop, or especially anything cold, because, you know, sometimes you have something cold and it just turns on, you know, activates the bladder and everything else, right? Yeah, I mean, you got to think about all this kind of stuff when you're going to go see a long movie. I'd say we're above 50% on that there will be an, what do you call it? Oh my gosh, my mind went blank. It's on the tip of my tongue. Basically, a break in the movie so that everybody can go use the restroom, right? There was one in, like, I remember Braveheart and Titanic, you know, back in the day. Those late 90s movies. First time I did really long movies. And I think comparatively, we went way past that in movies that did not have those breaks. But I think if we're getting, you know, way past 3 hours, they gotta stick it in there. As you're editing it down, you figure, okay, wait, this is about an hour and a half, and a kind of a slow part, maybe even a transition part of the movie. They should do some kind of 5-10 minute stop. Let everybody go use the restroom and come back. I know. You just want to, like, hit the ground running with a movie and go, 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 go. Enjoy the movie. Figure out your restroom. Good luck. But I think especially with Doomsday, when they're saying it's going to be, I mean, it could be up there between 3 hours and 45 minutes, which is what I've seen recently. Trailers can be up there between, 15 to 20 minutes. They're doing a lot of these, like, ads, before and after trailers, in the middle of it looks like it's a trailer, but it's an ad for something. It's a movie they've been showing trailers for, and so they take the time out and have the same characters, actors, whatever you want to call it, talking about drinking a Coke with whatever, or, I like Taco Bell, said Ant-Man. And they throw those into the previews now, which is annoying. Like, how long ago was it when you're doing this movie trivia, blah, 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 and all of a sudden the lights dim, and we start doing trailers, and you're watching trailers in the dark. And now they're trailers with the lights on, or at least dimmed. And then eventually the lights go off, and we get into the main movie. I kind of want to see all the lights off with the previews. And then, like, you think it's another preview, and then no, it's the movie that you came there to see. Not bad cigar. Again, these are from Privada Cigars. They have so many good deals there. If you're looking for a cigar, I'd check out Privada. I get their cheaper package called Farm Rolled. See, it has no label, no wrap around it telling you whose cigar, and that way they don't have to pay them for the name, essentially. And so they can You can get 4 cigars for $20. I mean, that's not bad. And the cigars are pretty good. You're not just getting some Joe Schmo from around the corner and it's being shipped to you, and you're like. Anyway, that's the commercial for the cigar. Back to Endgame. Now, we've done Endgame before, and it's, say an hour shorter of what they're saying Doomsday is going to be at 2 hours. What was it? 2 hours, 45 minutes? 2.5, 240? Something like that. It was long. It was like a 3-act movie, as they say, and almost an hour-ish for each act. And remember, do you think they won? They brought the Stones back. They snapped their fingers. Yay! Thanos comes back from the past. Because this whole thing with the one character, do you know what I'm talking about? That was crazy. But, I mean, the way they wrote it, it was very legit. Their brains were connected, so they kidnapped the one, they switched places. It's great. And then you got the whole battle between the main cast and the Thanos from the past, who kind of knows what they did. So instead of snapping away half the universe, he's like, I'm going to snap away everybody. To snap everybody away, except for himself, and maybe his army, whatever, probably would have killed him. And when he only did half the universe, it completely destroyed his arm. He could barely lift the bucket of vegetables. So I don't know. That's my theory on that. It would have he would have been having some issues. And then you got to re-snap his then he would have to re-snap his fingers to start life from the beginning, and they would only know of Thanos. Thanos would be the god of the universe for everybody who was first created. Yeah, that would have been bad if Thanos won, but he didn't. Anyway, back in the Endgame. So they're not really. I mean, like I said, there's a couple of different reasons why they're doing this. A, just to get you excited, of course. Maybe get your bladder used to sitting down for a few hours. It was probably the last really, really, really popular Marvel movie. I mean, it's been how many years? It came out in 2019, so it's going to be almost 7.5 years by the time it comes out in December. Or September. I'm thinking Doomsday again. September for Doomsday. But the other reason they said they're going to sprinkle in maybe a few deleted scenes throughout it. But the biggest thing is they're going to add in, which is rare. They haven't done this before. I don't think. They've done some edits on different movies that came out a long time ago and then re-released them. The thing that pops up in my head right away is Star Wars. From the old ones, they redid a couple things, added in some CGI. There's a thing with Han Solo. That's the biggest one, where he was talking to somebody like a representative of Jabba the Hutt, which I think was super small scene, maybe even been deleted. No, wait. It wasn't deleted, but it was still a really, really short scene. Tell Jabba I'm coming, all right? I'll pay him back. Don't worry. I'm going to go do this thing. It's got this huge reward. We'll take care of it. All right, right. Within, when was it? Early 2000s? Late 90s? I forget the exact year. But then they CGI'd in Jabba the Hutt and Jabba is talking to Solo, and Solo's telling him, "Hey Jabba, I'm good for it. I'm good for it. You know I am. And I'm gonna do this thing with this kid I just met. It's supposed to have this huge reward, and you'll be paid in full, no problem." And okay, Solo, pa la cuca tapa. Right? And those I kind of understand. You know, better technology. Lucas wanted to do that, but he couldn't because of technology. Wise, it was just, back when the movie first came out, he could barely do what they did with Jabba. It was just him sitting there and had like 10 different animatronics sitting inside this giant costume, moving his eyes and his tongue and flicking the tail. And that was it. Now CGI, you can actually make him a squiggle, down the runway, whatever. Okay, I mean, purists hated that they put him in there. I mean, understandable too. For the most part, I think Marvel has really brought that in the fold. Being a purist, this is how it was released in the theater. That is all you get. We're not doing director's cuts. I'm sorry. Now, Spider-Man technically is Sony, even though he's in the MCU. But Sony doesn't have the same kind of thing that Marvel does about like no director's cuts or anything. So they re-released Spider-Man No Way Home in the theaters, adding in these deleted scenes. And now you can even see it on streaming. If you see it extended edition, Spider-Man No Way Home, that's what it is. I really like it, just because I love No Way Home, and so you can't go wrong with some extra scenes when you love the character and you love the movie. I mean, it's mainly just a little bit more talking, maybe slightly more action. But they only added actually, I think they added up to 15 minutes worth, which is pretty crazy. But again, that's Sony. They can do that. For the most part, not for the most part, Marvel doesn't do director's cuts or re-release with deleted scenes, things like that. So for them to do Endgame like this is quite unusual. But the directors of Doomsday and then Secret Wars, they also did Infinity War and Endgame, and then Winter Soldier and Civil War. And they asked them if they would re-release it so that they could put in some tie-ins from Endgame, tie in into Doomsdays and Doctor Doom. There's one YouTuber who's really into. He knows a lot of people in Hollywood. I think he's even wrote some screenplays that were used in different movies, not just Marvel or anything, but just a lot of I think some sci-fi things. Robert Meyer Burnett. Maybe look him up. Robert Meyer Burnett, and he was saying it's pretty much just going to be an end credit scene. Endgame did not have an endgame scene or end credit scene. If you go back in your mind, you think, "Oh no, that's with Steve Rogers dancing with Carter." Technically, no, that wasn't an end credit. That came before the first credit started rolling. It was kind of wrapped up, but then they kind of this slow little flashback when old Steve Rogers says, "No, I don't think I will tell you," but they tell us just a snippet to the audience. Then after I put the stones back, I just had to go find me a Peggy Carter, and live that life, and I just stayed in the past. They're kind of it went back and forth on whether or not it was like actual past, just a past of the main timeline, or is it multiverse? He just went to a multiverse and found a Peggy. The writers and the directors kind of contradict each other when they were interviewed about it. So maybe we'll get a definite answer. They're saying in some plot leaks that it was multiverse, but because he's not supposed to be there, it would cause an incursion. The TVA would find him. Like, you can't just go in the past or another multiverse and hang out with somebody that you've always wanted to marry or whatever, right? And the leak is saying that maybe Loki finds him, like pre-season 2, when he first starts to do the time slipping, and for some reason just time slips into the past and where Steve Rogers is. He's like, oh hey. And because he essentially saw Infinity War, Endgame, and all that, and how everything played out through watching the story of his life, story of the Avengers' lives, he knows what happened, even though he wasn't there. Essentially, he can go, oh, you know what? The TVA is going to find you, or you're going to run into an incursion. I'm going to help you out, buddy. And supposedly, he takes him to the Fantastic Four's universe, as in a new Fantastic Four, onto their planet, on their timeline, and says, just don't do anything Captain America-y. Just be quiet. Nobody's going to know you. There's not an old Steve Rogers frozen in the Arctic somewhere. It's not like you're going to run into yourself. So as long as you stay quiet, raise the family, no TVA, no incursions. If you run any problems, here's my card. That's what we're hearing. So there's going to be that little bit of connection. Maybe that's what's going to be in the end credit scene. Maybe that might be a mid-credit scene, and then the end credit, or vice versa, will be something like more Doctor Doom. Something that shows, because supposedly there's some kind of connection between the Tony Stark Iron Man and Doctor Doom, because it's played by the same actor. So there has to be, it's not just, we want you to look away, it's just, we're just doing this casting, or we're doing a recasting, and the original actor played this person, and they just happen to be playing this other person now. That's not a thing that they're going to try to manipulate the audience for. So they're going to say that Tony Stark and Doctor Doom are the variants of one or the other. So Tony Stark was either he was always been a Victor Von Doom, or just like a Von Doom, and they just the original parents didn't name him Victor yet, and the parents died, and he was adopted by the Starks, and he grew up, and then we know what happened in Iron Man 1, right? Or Stark, his parents died a lot younger, and he was orphaned. Then in the original timeline where his parents died and he was like 18, 19, whatever it was they showed in Civil War. He was orphaned at a much younger age, and the Von Dooms adopted him. We're talking international adoption, but it happens. And both families are somewhat rich. They could, like, hey, let's adopt this person in this other country, America or Valeria. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm like, that seemed like the most easiest explanation, that somebody was adopted by somebody else. So, like, different things happened, and it created an opportunity for one character to be adopted by another family, and they were raised as such. Give your ideas below how else all this can happen. That's what I've heard from somebody a long time ago, like a couple years ago, after they announced that RDJ was going to play Doctor Doom. And to me, that sounds the most legit way for them to do this. I don't know. What do you think? I heard another reason it could be is that Tony Stark grew up the exact same way. Exact same things happened, except he didn't completely die. He was only almost dead. Almost dead. Princess Diary here. Not Princess Diary. Princess Bride thing of almost died. Nearly dead. But not all dead. So at the end of Endgame, the stones nearly killed him. And and became very angry or something because of it. I don't know. I forget how the exact idea or plot it would be from him surviving. Let's see. When they went to go back in time to get the stones, what year was it? It was the Tony Stark from the first Avengers movie when they went back to steal the stones from the first Avengers movie. Tony Stark and they get like 3 different stones from there. And anyway, that whole situation, they had Ant-Man like give that Tony like a heart attack because of the sticking into his little chest gizmo there. And then Thor like taps his hammer on him, kind of like giving him a little CPR zap. Now, I mean, this little thing is somewhat legit, I think. I mean, see, that Stark would have cameras everywhere. I mean, it's his building when this would happen. It's the lobby from the Stark Tower. So he's got cameras everywhere. He can talk to Jarvis, say, "Hey, what was going on?" And all of a sudden, he zooms in and he sees there's another Stark running around. There's an Ant-Man was flicked and he crawled into his chest. He ends up seeing that there's more than one Captain America running around. He's like, what's going on? And he figured out that his place in the world is a lot smaller. And because of everything that happens, an incursion happens on that timeline, that universe. And his wife and child die. He ends up having a child, like later, and they die. And then it gets into kind of the comic book plot of Doctor Doom, where the wife and child die. Maybe even gets into like Mephisto took his mother. And he starts to dabble in magic because he sees that there's a second Hulk running around, and he found that the Hulk on Bleecker Street. Finds out there's that magic with the Ancient One. Maybe he talks to the Ancient One and discovers how to tap into that magic. But he's even more. he grasps it even quicker than Doctor Strange does. And so it becomes even more powerful than Doctor Strange. I mean, that's somewhat legitimate, but it's quite a story. I mean, they'd have to release like the thing they used to do called Marvel One Shots, and they have to do like maybe an hour-long thing, release it in October after Endgame, something like a whole background on who RDJ is. Or they could wait until next year before we get into Secret Wars and give us a whole background on RDJ's Tony Stark and how he became Doctor Doom in this alternate universe. And then they could do like that legitimate thing, because there's a huge story there that you can't just do in a flashback, or is that? I mean, they could do it in a quick dialogue exposition, and for those who like us who've seen all the movies like 100 times, we can go, oh, okay, I mean, the average fan who's like barely seen all the movies, maybe they only really like the Avengers movies and they only watch the Avengers movies. For the most part, you could get away with that. There's a few newer characters in each movie where you might have to go, well, I don't know who that is, but okay, I'll play along. Not smoking this guy enough that it goes out. Anyway. So Endgame is being re-released in September. One of the main reasons why they are is because they're adding a tie-in from Endgame to Doomsday. They're calling Doomsday a direct sequel to Endgame. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, so they're just going to like make us ignore all the other movies because they all suck, blah, blah, blah. No. The best way I can put it is like Infinity War was a direct sequel to Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. But it does not ignore every movie that happened between Age of Ultron and Infinity War. I think you think about that a lot of movies. Captain America 1 and 2, or 2 and 3. There's a lot of things that happen in between there. And it, part of the plot was, because of this and this and this happened. And now we're picking up, just talking about Captain America and why he's doing this now. Between 1 and 2. And then same with Civil War. All these different characters happened and everything happened in the second movie. So, I mean, it's the same thing. So don't be like, oh, all the other movies don't mean anything. No. But there's a lot that happens in Endgame that will connect what happens several years later that will tie into Doomsday, plus what happened with Tony Stark that would have a connection with Doctor Doom, who is multiversally speaking the same person. Alright, so I think I got it all out there for you. Good 30-minute video. I mean, for the most part, I didn't get into too many rabbit trails. But you know me. If you watch my channel long enough, I rabbit trail like nobody's business. So, I'm trying to get better as I do more and more videos. I'll try to stay more focused. But thank you for joining me. I will finish off my cigar. And don't forget to hit like on this video and all the other videos. Please subscribe. And love to hear from you in the comments section. Later.